Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the Thai Expat Daily Show. I'm your host, Kieran Mack, as always, and delighted you've been able to tune in with us yet again for another show. Now, before we do get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and give us an old share on social media if you can. Now, if you like listening to us on a podcast player, there's a link down below in the description, which will take you to a website where a vast array of podcast players can be found. And finally, if you want to support the show, if you like the show, a couple of ways you can do it. The first way is just to become a channel member, and you can do so through YouTube, or alternatively you can also buy us a coffee on buymeacoffee.com, link also down below in the description. And finally, if you want to follow us on TikTok or Instagram, links are also down below there. On TikTok, we're doing short versions of these videos, so you'll get them for a minute 30, and you can subscribe and follow us there as well. It's proven to be quite popular and a great way to get your news in the evening time. So now that's all done and dusted, let's jump into the top stories doing the rounds here in Thailand today. Bangkok and Chiang Mai named among best Asian cities for expats. Preply, an online language learning marketplace, has released its rankings on the top 10 cities for expats moving to Asia in 2024. Two cities in Thailand, including Bangkok and Chiang Mai, were recognised among them. Taking second place, the website describes Bangkok as the city with the highest return rate of all Asian cities analysed. From vibrant street food to magnificent temples, Bangkok is full of culture and opportunities for relocators. The cost of living in Bangkok has also more than halved over the last couple of years, going from $2,715 in 2021 to $1,048 in 2024. In fifth, it's Chiang Mai with a monthly living cost of $665. The 10 best cities for expats, according to Preply's analysis, are Singapore, Bangkok, Dubai, Penang, Chiang Mai, Kuala Lumpur, Seoul, Abu Dhabi, Tokyo, and Taipei. So moving along to the very next story, an interesting one at that. Thailand to apply VAT on all postal imports. So that's going to affect us all for our online ordering, especially for ordering from the likes of China, which has been exempt in the past. But starting in May, the Customs Department is set to implement a new policy requiring the collection of value-added tax for imported goods dispatched via postal service, irrespective of their value. Currently, such goods are exempt from import duties and VAT if each item declared cost, insurance and freight (CIF) value is less than 1,500 baht. However, the influx of low-priced goods from China has led to unfair competition for domestic producers. To address this issue, the Finance Ministry plans to levy VAT on all imported goods via postal services while maintaining the exemption from import duties. A source from the Finance Ministry noted that the threshold for exempted goods should not include prohibited items and varies from country to country based on economic conditions. In Thailand, this threshold was adjusted to 1,500 baht per item in 2018. Now, with over 30 million parcels imports entering Thailand annually, more than half claim a CIF value not exceeding 1,500 baht. Online platforms selling goods from China import large quantities of low-priced items, presenting a challenge for tax assessment, especially if each box needs to be individually inspected. Customs officials are exploring appropriate methods for tax collection on those low-priced goods. So this is apparently coming in next month, but yet they have not figured out how they're actually going to charge people, which will be very, very interesting. I mean, the amount of stuff that people order online, and if you see, even if you order stuff on Lazada, right, a lot of it comes from China these days. But there's also those other sites such as Alibaba and AliExpress, which a lot of people use to import stuff for reselling actually a lot of the time. But AliExpress will be more used in the same way as Lazada or Shopee would be used. So I'm interested to see how they're going to come up with a method to charge people. It'll be very, very interesting. It'll probably have to be something online, and it'll have to basically rely, I would say, on the importer, the Chinese importer, wherever the item is coming from. But this is mainly aimed at China being honest about the value. So we wonder how that'll work out in the future. But extra money in the coffers of the government, I don't think that's a bad idea, really. I mean, they could do with it. So moving along, lawyer activist Arnon Nampa gets another 2 years in prison for lèse majesté. Thai human rights lawyer Arnon Nampa was sentenced today to another 2 years and 20 days imprisonment to run consecutively after being found guilty at the criminal court on lèse majesté and other charges in connection with a Harry Potter themed rally at the Bangkok Art and Cultural Centre on August 3rd, 2021. Thai lawyers for human rights said today that the latest conviction, the third of its kind, has increased Arnon's combined imprisonment to 10 years and 20 days. In this case, Arnon was indicted on multiple charges, including defaming the monarchy, assembling of more than 5 people in a maximum control area, in violation of the order by communicable disease control officials, and using loudspeaker in public without permission. The court found him guilty of all the offences and sentenced him. He was also fined 100 baht. The lawyer and activist is currently serving his 2 previous jail terms at the Bangkok remand prison. So, obviously, being here in Thailand, I can't really discuss the lèse majesté law and the, good, bad and the ugly of it all. But what we can discuss is the fact that he's actually being prosecuted in 2024 for violations of the communicable disease order back in the COVID times. And that to me is just a nonsense. And that's where the government can step in and say, these laws will void them out. Okay, we'll give them a pardon on these or whatever. These were laws brought in under emergency rules, which I don't think should be prosecuted still in 2024. But that's just my opinion on all of that. I'd love to know your opinion down below as well. So we'll move on. And something we've spoken about on this show, umpteen times, is the need for public transportation in Phuket. And, well, maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel. The Phuket Tram gets closer to reality. The feasibility study for the first phase of the Phuket Tram project is expected to conclude within 6 months, paving the way for potential construction to commence by 2028 and the service to be operational by, 2031. The Transport Minister provided an update on the progress of the study, which focuses on a 41.7 kilometre tram system linking Phuket International Airport to Shillong. Mr. Surya stated that the Mass Rapid Transit Authority would require an additional 6 months to finalise the study and present the findings to the MRTA board by June 2026. Subsequently, the proposal will be submitted to various authorities, including the Transport Ministry, Public-Private Partnership Committees and the Cabinet between July 2026 and February 2027. The bidding process for the construction work is anticipated to take place from March 27 to August 2028. Construction is projected to commence around September 2020 and the tram service is expected to commence operation by December 2031. That's right. We're in 2024 now, okay? To address potential traffic congestion during the construction phase, Phuket authorities are planning to expand Highway Road number 402 and 4027. Additionally, 5 underpass tunnels will be constructed to facilitate smoother traffic flow at 5 junctions on Highway 402 in the outskirts of Phuket City. So, very good thing. But they've been talking about this so long, I don't know why it's taken so long to get a feasibility study done. It's not even about feasibility at this stage. It's about something that's necessary and needed. I was driving around Phuket today and we were talking with my wife and we were just discussing how horrendous the traffic was. And one of the main reasons you see so many cars and motorbikes, but mainly cars now, which seem to be the problem because everybody is buying a car. As Thailand gets richer, I guess is the best way, or people earn more money, they want more things, and cars are a great way to get around. But an island like Phuket is just not designed for the amount of cars that are on it. But one of the reasons there's so many cars as well is there's no public transportation, or nothing worth talking about, let's be honest. And this is one of the reasons why people are continuously buying automobiles. It's to get from A to B because the government here on the island, the government of Thailand, have yet to provide in 2024 an actual public transportation system for an island that brings in huge amounts of money in tourism revenue each and every year. And to me, that is absolutely shocking and a disgrace. If they want Phuket to be a better island, what they need to do is firstly come up with a way to get people from A to B without being in cars, without the roads being chocker blocked, which what they are now. And people who live here in Phuket will understand exactly what I'm talking about. What they also need to do is put a clamp down and stop all these projects of condominiums and housing estates being built. Because soon there's going to be no actual land for people to go for a walk on, to enjoy the countryside as such. It's all being taken away, and eventually Phuket is just going to be an island filled with condominiums towers and whatnot, and no green space for people anymore. And that's obviously something for a different day. But this is positive, but the idea that it's going to be 2031, and the way things get delayed, you're probably talking 2033, 34 by the time it actually all gets done and dusted. Now, strange old story today. Another foreigner in Phuket caught driving on the beach. I don't know what's been going on recently. People all wanting to drive on the beach in Phuket, but a German man has been fined 1,000 baht after police were called to recover a Bangkok registered Ford Everest from Lengpang Beach on April 28th. Churntalay police responded to reports on social media and found the Ford Everest bearing red license plates from Bangkok parked further up the beach. Despite being away from the water, tyre tracks indicated that the vehicle had been driving on the beach. The police statement identified the German man as Mr. Simon only and described him as a terrorist, as a tourist. However, it did not provide details regarding why the car was parked on the beach. Also, photos from the scene showed an old Toyota Corolla GX with its front wheels buried in the sand nearby, but the police statement did not mention any action taken regarding that vehicle other than its removal from the beach area. Now, according to a construction worker at a nearby camp, a Thai man had driven that Toyota Corolla onto the sand the night before. Then the Ford Everest arrived later in an attempt to free the Corolla from the sand. Additionally, remnants of a campfire were discovered among trees in the vicinity. So what looks like happened here, very strange. There's all the focus on the tourist, the foreigner being on the beach, but as the construction worker says, initially it was a Thai man in a Toyota that was driving up and down on the beach and he got stuck. But they didn't make any comment about that to police. And sometimes you think there's a little bit of an agenda here, in terms of let's point the finger at the foreigners all the time. Bad foreigners. They're always doing something wrong. But again, it looks like this man came to actually help the other guy and he got in trouble. So, 1,000 baht, it's not much. Okay, fair enough. And that's probably the end of it for him. He's a tourist. Nothing's going to happen. But again, a little very one-sided point the finger at the foreigner and very little information from the police about the Thai man in the actual Toyota Corolla. And as we conclude today's episode, I want to invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. This show isn't just about delivering news, it's about fostering a conversation. Your insights and perspectives matter. So keep the dialogue alive, like the video, subscribe to our channel and share it with others. Your support means the world to us. I'm Kieran Mack and you've been tuning in to the Thai Expat Daily Show. Until next time, take care and stay engaged.